Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 25 of Real Jumpers, your favorite comedic sci-fi podcast. I am your commanding officer, Terner Thompson, and joining me today are my elite squad mates. Everyone, introduce yourselves.
Hello there.
No.
I'm up first this time, because Dom changed his name again.
I do it every day.
Oh, what's up, troopers? This is Dion, aspiring voice actor, and here to make fun of all the that Turner straps us to those chairs and makes us watch.
Speaking of which, hi, I'm Dennis, your resident mech expert, Gundam enthusiast, and all-around guy that takes care of anything mechanical. Not this movie, though. This movie just deserves to be taken out back and shot.
Why do you all hate this movie?
My ears are still bleeding from this movie.
You also even said you don't like it as much as you thought you did.
No. There's a difference between I didn't like this movie to take it out and shoot it.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, Dom, go.
Well, actually, no, I should save that for the next movie. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's true. What's up, everybody? I'm Dom, and I scoured the entire Kanto region for various Godzillas to bring into the fold. Do you know what that means? It means I'm the most powerful kaiju in the world.
Yeah, I'm taller than all of them.
Damn it.
And my name is Terner Thompson, and I am a VFX artist. So today, troopers, we are going to be wrapping up our part 2 coverage of Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, a.k.a. the invasion of the Astro-Monster, a.k.a. Godzilla vs. the Astro-Monster, a.k.a. Godzilla vs. the Cosmic Monster. God, I hate localizations.
Or, just call it Godzilla vs. Rodan Part 2.
What? No!
Does the zero stand for zero to give?
What? Rodan has been his ally for like 2 movies in a row now.
Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah Part 2.
There you go, King Ghidorah Part 2. That's what I meant.
Pretty much, yeah.
Mothra was taking a nap in the corner.
For some reason.
I think we firmly established that Rodan and Godzilla are the Piccolo and Goku of this universe.
Exactly, dude.
I mean, kind of. At the end of, oh god, what movie was it where King Ghidorah showed up the first time?
Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster.
Oh yeah, literally his name, damn it. But at the end of Ghidorah, remember, we were just like, what's going to happen to Godzilla and Rodan? Immediately, they're just standing there chilling on the island. They're cool now, they're gang.
They're waiting for the fish to jump. Wait, what do you mean the fish to jump? Finn! I get it. Yeah, because he's a fish.
Wait, who would be his Vegeta then?
There's not a really good analog.
I don't think he has one yet.
I only go with Piccolo because Piccolo's like the first villain before aliens start showing up, so that's why I picked Rodan to be Piccolo.
But Piccolo is an alien.
He is.
Well, true.
Why does Rodan keep coming back, but we have to wait till Destroy All Monsters, right, when everybody comes back?
That's where they bring back as many as they can.
I assume Anguirus is going to be in there too?
Yes. That's where he gets a nice, fancy new costume.
We see Mothra on the next movie.
Yeah.
Why do we have to wait till Destroy All Monsters for Anguirus to come back?
Because Anguirus.
Because they don't have the money.
No, it's not that. It's because they didn't really consider him a moneymaker. Raids Again did money, but it wasn't like Mothra big or King Kong big, and they wanted to do another movie with King Kong, but they just kept not doing the rights, and they're like, all right, look, we'll just make our own independent cut, because they made a couple King Kong movies without Godzilla, and then, the copyright ran out, and then they couldn't bring them into Destroy All Monsters, so.
Wow.
Wait, you said King Kong isn't in Destroy All Monsters?
He is not. They wanted to, but by that point, they had run out. They couldn't use him anymore.
Didn't you say, was it this movie, or was it the next movie that one of the monsters was basically supposed to be Kong, but they ran out of time on the license?
Next movie.
Yeah,
the next movie.
Yeah, the next one.
Yeah, Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, which, by the way, audience, we watched that movie, and it was a lot worse than I remembered it.
It's not Raids Again bad, but you could kind of tell. Shiro Honda, right, is the one who's been doing all the movies that they never get his name right.
Yeah, and he's not in this.
You can tell between this movie and the next one who directed who. Because at least in this one, there's some parts of it that make sense. I know most of it's the English translation and the English editing that kind of skim through parts to where we make fun of it and laugh. And then we watch in the original subtitle, in the original dialect, then it'd be, the reasoning is there for, plots A, B, C, and D to continue through.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened when you and I went back and watched King Kong versus Godzilla, the Japanese version. We were like, oh my god, everything makes sense.
I feel like I'm going to be the outlier in the next video. I don't think I hated it like nearly as much as all you did. Like, that movie's has done the impossible so far. I actually enjoyed the human characters in that movie.
Wow, really? Brother, I'm glad you did, because I have problems.
But you know what? That's besides the point. You know what? If Ishiro Honda did direct that next movie, he was probably smart enough to direct them towards, patreon.com/RealJumpersPodcast.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where you can find all sorts of stuff, like uncensored episodes of our video, or excuse me, not videos, of our podcast episodes, some of our exclusive videos. And we have a new tier out there that's a nice tip jar if anyone wants to throw us a bone.
We need money!
Give us your money.
Please. There's so much in my cup. I just need a few cents.
Don't listen to them. You don't need money as long as you have force amplifier.
But if you guys can't subscribe to our Patreon, don't worry. You can do lots of stuff to help us conquer the airways. You can like, comment, subscribe. And apparently, if anyone has the kahunas to hit the hype button, it'll make my day.
Hype train! Hype train!
I still don't know where it is. Turner and I looked for it the other day just to see if it existed, and we both couldn't find it on any of our videos, but it exists or something.
I've seen the hype button on other videos before, but you just can't. Whatever.
I will find it hilarious if it's only for YouTube partners to where then the button comes up, and since we're not that, it will just be forever locked to where he's just saying press this button. This button doesn't exist.
But that doesn't make any sense because the hype button is supposed to help small creators, and you can't become a YouTube partner if you're a tiny creator.
This is going to sound really funny when someone's watching this in the future where we already have millions of views or some and they're just the f*** are they talking about? It's right there.
Now go listen to Chilluminati from the very beginning. You can literally listen through their entire journey of becoming a more popular show.
Like us. Now, let's move on from this gaggle of and move on to this other gaggle of
Honestly, everything we were just talking about was actually kind of on topic, funny enough.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say is that anything we say on this podcast, we were probably going to get a lot of stuff wrong. Let's be honest, man. So if we get anything wrong, please comment below and tell us that we're a bunch of idiots. Is there anything you guys want to say before we jump into it?
Here, well, I'll give the viewers a nice little incentive to go to the Patreon and hear what I'm about to say.
Actually, before we start the show, one last thing I want, really quick side tangent. So I was at my local gas station store, and I was like, all right, I'm in the mood for a soda. Let me see. What? What's that? Huh? So there's this brand called C4, which I've had them before. They're an energy drink that's their claim to fame is that they have zero sugar, which
C4 is effectively kind of pre-workout energy drink.
Not sponsored by C4.
Yeah, pretty much. And thank you thanks. I appreciate that. Turns out I saw one and it had Godzilla on the can.
Oh, so you bought 12.
Yeah, it's called Sour Blue Razzilla.
Okay, that's actually kind of good.
And here we go. I got a nice can right here. Hold on. Oh, I hope that picked up.
It did. Well, at least it picked up on Discord.
Oh, that's good. If it picked up on Discord, it would definitely...
Yeah, he's using the same mic.
No, I used two different mics.
Oh, I forgot about that. All right, whatever.
Oh my god, it's exactly what my dream flavor would be. This shed is blue. And don't worry, Garrett, you don't need to censor that because I said the word shed.
And not...
I mean...
Damn it!
Anyway, now then, ladies and gentlemen, gear up. We're jumping back into the Showa era. This is Real Jumpers. Now let's drop.
Yo, can I get some of that soda?
So, last time on our show, we dove back into the 1960s in a sci-fi spectacle of Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, plus all the other titles it's called. We were followed astronauts Glenn and Fuji on their joint mission to the mysterious Planet X, hidden behind Jupiter. There they encountered the subterranean Xiliens and their mysterious controller. Aliens claimed that their civilization is being terrorized by King Ghidorah, dubbed Monster Zero, and they proposed a massive trade with the Earthlings. If Earth allowed them to borrow Godzilla and Rodan and fight the space dragon, humanity in return would get the cure for cancer and every other disease. But, cancer's more impressive at the time.
Still be impressive today, honestly.
That would be impressive today. While the monsters were transported to Planet X and successfully drove Ghidorah away, giving us the iconic Godzilla victory dance, things back on Earth were getting suspicious. There is also an ongoing subplot with Tetsuo and his Lady Alarm invention and the mysterious World Education Corporation, which turned out to be a front for the Xilian spies. The episode wrapped up with a massive betrayal. Instead of a medical miracle, the data tape that the aliens provided was actually a demand for Earth's unconditional surrender, setting the stage for an all-out planetary invasion. Luckily, mankind probably handled this very well.
No, wait. Let me just cook for a second. Not only did they handle this very well, nobody really, they care, obviously, but, they're in this big meeting room with the tape that just said, we're going to invade you if you don't unconditionally surrender. Everyone's just like, damn, they tricked us, no cure for cancer. In the room, the initial reaction is just like, damn, no cure for cancer. Outside, riots break out. People are pushing cars over. Someone knocks down a telephone pole or some shit.
And the footage is the same one from Rodan when...
Oh, yeah, they reused footage from Rodan, I think.
That happens later, but they use a lot of still images of riots that have already happened on Earth.
Yeah, basically. And we all noticed it immediately. It's just this doesn't look right. But Glenn finds Namikawa, and they have this whole scene where she's just like, I don't want to be with Planet X anymore. I love you, Glenn. I'll do anything for you. Standard, what was this, the 50s?
Yeah.
Yeah, standard 50s female rhetoric.
The 60s, yes, it's the 60s, sorry.
Standard 60s female rhetoric, and that's not sexist. That's just, look, it's wrong, but it's how it was back then. It's stupid. I acknowledge it's stupid. Anyways, and they just have the super cliched thing where it's let's run away together, and then, the Planet Xians immediately storm their room. Someone called a SWAT team of Planet Xians on them, they were streaming and had their IP address or some
Mild correction, it was, Namikawa was, trying to convince him to go to Planet X with her so that they could get married there and avoid all the trouble. That was what her initial plan was.
That was it? That makes even less sense. Wait, if she took him to Planet X and married him, he's still... All right, whatever.
Oh, no, you want to know what makes even less sense? She couldn't even do that because of the fact of where the AI in her is literally telling her no.
Doesn't she also get iced at the end of the scene?
She literally gets killed 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
They sci-fi her ass and turn her photo negative.
She dissipates into particles. But doesn't she gives Glenn a signal or some kind of MacGuffin?
A piece of paper.
Yeah, the piece of paper that's important later.
Yep.
And then they sci-fi her ass. Holy shit.
To paint the scene, it was Glenn goes to the destroyed newsroom, science room that they've...
It was where World Education Center was.
He goes there. He finds her there. They have this moment. She's begging. And he's like, no, I can't do that. I can't betray my planet. They show up and then immediately kill her.
You let your emotions control you. You must be silenced. And I love the way that Glenn says robots. He's like, we won't be controlled by robots.
Robots.
Yeah, whoever dubbed that one kind of messed up the inflection, but
it was him. He said it. That's his voice. Remember,
that's right. He dubbed it.
It's just him.
Damn it, he
didn't even dub it. That's just his performance.
That's kind of funny.
Come on, man, can't even get your own lines right.
That's just how he says robots back then. That's the accent he has.
Really?
I guess.
Yes.
Robots.
Robots.
Robert.
Well, the next scene is hilarious because it directly parallels the joke that we have. For the last time, we're not deploying nukes.
Because they're all like, what are we going to do? No, we're not nuking them. Our entire planet would be ruined.
We would ruin our own planet. We would ruin their planet, probably. They could probably stop us. oh shit, there's a saucer outside, and it blows up the P1 rocket. They gave them an hour before they showed up, blew up the rocket, and they're like, since you haven't responded with a surrender, we're just gonna kill you now.
Oh, the funniest thing, that's the rocket that they painstakingly recreated and sent them home on. So I'm like, what was the point of making their rocket if it's to blow it up? Why not just take them back home in one of your saucers and then do the ruse? You just wasted some intern's time doing that back on Planet X.
Yeah, but it's the intern. Who gives a
Oh, no, not just that. So it shows that it looks like they've been here for a while, right?
Yeah,
Don't they have cloaking technology or something?
No, they don't have that, unfortunately. They just hide underwater.
Oh, right.
So my theory about this is that they sent Ghidorah here initially to test out the is here. That's when they found Godzilla and Rodan and Mothra. They saw, okay, Mothra, they can't do with Mothra. This one's still like a child-like thing.
It's basically a baby.
Effectively a baby kicking Ghidorah's ass. And then he sees Godzilla and Rodan are here. Maybe this can work. Which leads me to believe, why the haven't they taken over sooner? They could have really no. They could have got, at least not taken over, but at least got into more critical positions in government to where they could have made their job a slightly bit easier. But they didn't. I know this requires intelligence that they do not have.
No, Dennis. It's because it's the same thing in all filmmaking. If the heroes or the villains are too competent, the plot literally can't happen.
Damn it, you're right.
Who do you think these are? The Skrull?
There you go.
No, I want the comic book Skrull or Earth's Mightiest Defenders or whatever that show.
Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah.
Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I want those Skrull, not the lame-ass ones of the current Marvel Cinematic Universe. Secondly, Dennis, would you like me to explain why they did this, or do you want me to save that for later?
Save it for later. Let's go with the suspense. We've proven that we have ideas to where we can make better shows and movies and people who actually write this
But I'm glad you're thinking. That's important. I'm glad you're thinking. So they blow up the P-1 rocket, and they immediately are like, all right, we're going to deploy Ghidorah in the USA, but we're never going to show it. All right. And then I love this part. And it exactly ties into what you were just saying, Dennis. Dr. Sakura, looking up at the sky at the saucer that just blew up the P-1, says Ghidorah was always one of their weapons. And that sounds like a thing that's kind of offhand. And if you've only seen this movie, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But then if you really think about it, it's like a hard, yes, the Xiliens sent Ghidorah in the first movie here, and then now they're back for round 2 or something. So I love that. They also are idiots and announced over the intercoms, we will now control the monsters using magnetic waves. Why the did you tell humanity how you're doing it?
They think humanity is stupid.
I know.
Humanity is stupid. They got to give them some kind of fighting chance, I guess, at this point.
How did King Ghidorah's raid on the U.S. go?
They never show it.
I'm going to go with it was devastating because it's King Ghidorah and it's unstoppable.
No, they didn't want to show up because King Ghidorah got bodied. We can go and blow that 3-headed stone out the sky.
Well, remember, the controller of Planet X is operating off of the logic that Ghidorah is supernova level.
but they haven't met the next star level villain yet.
He ran the calculations in his head. It would take at least a multi-dimensional power level to defeat Ghidorah.
Also, we focused on Japan because they didn't want to use the nukes. In the U.S., we just nuked the game over. That wouldn't have been a very exciting movie, wouldn't it?
No, it would not have been.
Well, also, don't forget that whenever a kaiju shows up, it goes straight for Japan. The only reason Ghidorah attacked the U.S. is because that's where they dropped him. Otherwise, he would have just gone straight for Japan.
The people of Planet X are looking at the map, and they see just Ghidorah immediately heading towards Japan. It's like, that's not where we told him to go, but that's where he's going. Interesting.
I mean, it works, but, what the is he doing?
All right, so the Xiliens give Earth 24 more hours as a courtesy to try and give up one more time. Instantly, the scientists are like, so did that motherfucker say that they're using magnetic waves? Yeah, they did. That's kind of stupid. Okay, let's see if we can stop that. So there's this lake house where, this is where, again, like the Xiliens have like an Earth base or some shit. And Glenn and Tetsuo are in the quote-unquote soundproof prison.
It's not soundproof.
Soundproof prison with the supposedly soundproof bars. I distinctly remember one of them saying the bars are soundproof.
Which, that doesn't make any sense.
The bars are soundproof.
Especially when they can hear the little beeping thing.
That is later, but yes, that's the reason why I'm so mad about it, because they made such a big deal to make a soundproof cell, and their biggest weakness is thwarted by the fact that they forgot that there is nothing between the bars.
No, Terner, don't you remember? The invasion of Godzilla and the other monsters has drastically advanced humanity's science. There's an invisible force field between the bars that makes them soundproof.
That still doesn't hold up because it still works later.
Whatever. So basically, Glenn and Tetsuo are in the prison, blah, blah, blah. And we see the the colonial controller, who is the guy right underneath controller of Planet X. And he's like, all right, the plan is to kill every human being. I'm like, what? I thought you guys wanted to rule Earth. Now you want to kill everyone? I mean, if that was your plan from the beginning, I guess, then why did you do this whole rigmarole of surrender to us or something? I don't know. I thought you guys wanted a subservient race to... What's your plan?
All your base are belong to us.
Like, follow our demands. Surrender and die. Don't they mean surrender or die? No.
So stupid. So the UN convenes and they have like 15 hours remaining. And I actually really like that they verbally tell us how much time is left on the doomsday clock here. That actually helps a lot for me to like understand like what the passage of time. However, it does make no sense later once I pull out like the end game, whatever. So they're all like, well, what the are we gonna do? And the priest is like, we could pray. And I'm like, what the is that gonna do? Trust me, man, at least my soul's gonna be saved, not you filthy heathens or something like that. I mean, that's not... He says it way more eloquently, but that's pretty much what he told everyone in that room. But it's Dr. Sakura working with Fuji. They discover something called the A-cycle light ray, and I looked into it. It's not a real scientific phenomenon, but it. It is a specific ray that can interrupt magnetic pulses, and they're like, all right, this will probably help. We don't know the exact frequency, but it, we'll make a laser out of it.
Laser beams always work, don't you know?
Exactly. It's all lasers, dude. It's sci-fi sounds and Dennis, do you want to describe how Glenn and Tetsuo get out of that prison when they discover the note?
That's the dumbest ever.
So Glenn, remember, it was like feeling through his jacket. He finds a note that his now dead, or not his now atomized girlfriend gave him.
No, she's photo negative.
It looks like she just she got a critical hit in Fallout with it, and someone shot her with a laser pistol.
There you go.
The VAT system comes up and great. Now I have to edit that for our video portion of the show.
But also just plot contrivance number 72. She literally wrote down the fucking Planet Xian's kryptonite on a piece of paper. And not only did they not search him when they put him into the cell and like confiscate it or whatever, it's not even hard. He not only has the piece of paper that says use this high-pitched noise, he has the freaking device that he's been working on in his pocket, which they also didn't take from him, which just so happens to produce that exact sound.
But you would think that, the thing, they're effectively their kryptonite. They didn't take away, but I guess prison logic be damned. So they go turn it on, and it's not like and it paralyzes us. They're having a full-blown seizure, like this, like they're having an allergic reaction. They're on the ground. It genuinely looks like they're writhing on the ground.
I mean, they basically are.
Like, oh God! Oh God!
I got two things to say about this. One, this is why I'm so pissed that they made soundproof bars, but there's a holes between them, so it didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And my favorite, Glenn takes the device, and when one of the Xiliens gets on the bars, he like wraps his hand around his throat and like puts it up to his head and full on scrambles the dude's brains.
I am pretty sure that man is dead.
He's like,
All they're missing is the foam at the mouth.
I was just thinking that.
So they use the opportunity to get out. And honestly, while they're out there making their escape, they get outside. But they do something clever of where they make it seem like, oh, they got out on the boat, and they shoot, and the Xiliens destroy the boat.
yeah, they sent a full ass UFO after it and blew that.
But it turns out Glenn and Tetsuo actually hit in the water. Like, they're still on the island. So that now that technically they're on the island, but
Yeah.
they don't decide to check because, they don't follow the movie and, media logic of no body, no kill. So they're just sneaking away, which one, great planning for those two. For the Xiliens, you're dumb.
Well, I mean, like, would you expect an ant to have a shank on him, man? Like, the Xiliens think that we're idiots, so maybe that's why.
Don't we have, like, ants that are, like, genuine deadly? Like, literally lethal ants.
I can't recall if there's an ant that has a sting that is lethal. I do know that one of them, the bullet ant, has the most painful sting on Earth. I don't think it'll kill you.
That one tribe has, like, your trial to become, like, a man or an adult, whatever, is to, like, get stung by a bunch of bullet ants and, like, deal with it and, like, that.
Oh, yeah, you have to put your arm in that sleeve full of bullet ants.
Oh, yeah!
So, like, you get stung well over a couple hundred times and you have to just, like, deal with it. Like, bruh, I do not want to scrap with any of those people.
No, thank you. But yeah, no, that's how they escape. And now Godzilla and Rodan are being controlled, and
They're just sitting around, dude. And like,
No, remember that one scene, you gotta put in the video, Turner, where, like, Godzilla and Rodan are sitting there, like, right before they stand up, and Rodan actually looks like he just smoked a blunt.
and they got Silas like, dude, what was I talking about? That's right, Rodan. What was I talking about?
they wake him up, and they start going ham. And this is when they also go ham on reusing footage. Because they just reuse a lot of footage.
You did jump a little ahead. Like, first of all, with about 5 hours to go, the controller is continuing to refine his Chat GPT prompt to figure out how to take over Earth. And meanwhile, the nerds on Earth are like, all right, A-cycle waves. We got this. So you know what? Glenn and Tetsu somehow swim their ass all the way back to the mainland, which is a feat I'm not even sure I could pull off. And
Yeah, that's some Iron Man level.
It's like multiple miles.
The island didn't look too far away.
I think I could do it if my life depended on it, but goddamn, that's a long swim. So they make it back to like the science place, and Glenn and Tetsu are like, we know what to do, man. But Fuji tells Tetsu to f off, like, pretty much until he's like, oh yeah, guess what? I just invented the savior of Earth, man.
No, not the savior of Earth. I am the savior of Earth. My invention is a thing that can kill them. What? I can't believe you built this. Man, I've been so wrong about you, Tetsuo.
Please have my sister's hand in marriage.
So they're on the main saucer, and the controller then starts to hear that there is a discrepancy in Computer 5, and he changes his mind. He's like, all right, f it, we're going to invade now. You, read the tape.
The tapes show red dots are decreasing.
Good. Monster 01 and Monster 02, commence the attack. What the f does the red dots are decreasing mean, dude?
Don't.
Hostile activity? I don't know.
I don't know, because he was just stared at a screen of, like, they weren't even red dots. He's just like, it shows red dots are decreasing. Good. What does that mean?
It's movie mumbo jumbo, man.
Maybe the red dots is how they were measuring the rate of mind control or something.
It's the rate of usable people versus non-usable people. The ones who are usable will be shamed. The usable ones will be banished.
Will be shot.
And this is the part where they're like, all right, wake them up. So the UFOs shoot like a little, theremin laser at Rodan and Godzilla. And they both hop up and they're like, let's go!
Honestly, the aliens probably just moved up Godzilla and Rodan's timetable for this attack. They were probably just going to wake up and do this anyways.
Yes.
At some point.
This part irks me, and it's just as bad in the original. The humans now deploy their brand new A-cycle laser tanks that they built in under 24 hours, and they have like 50 of these things.
Not even less than 24 hours.
In under like 3 hours.
I was about to say less than what seems like 2, maybe 1.
Because remember, like earlier, they said there's like 5 hours left, and like now they have them.
These are the longest 5 hours I've ever seen. It's just like in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it's almost as long as Namek blowing up.
And for people who are a big fan of like these Toho monster movies, I thought these were maser tanks, but that's actually something that they do in the War of the Gargantuas, so the masers have not showed up yet, at least in the main Godzilla films, which maser tanks are kind of like a staple of Godzilla media. Like when we get to the Heisei era, you're going to see a ton of maser tanks. That's like their go-to, like, it's our anti-Godzilla weapon. It shoots lasers, and it kind of pisses them off.
But it still doesn't really do anything.
It does more than nothing.
Does more than nothing.
Last time someone tried doing something with lasers against a giant kaiju was Relistica. Remember them? They're god now. The Cataclysm.
Oh yeah, the atomic heat ray!
And look what happened. Mothra evolved. Died later, but evolved.
Oh, there was someone who made a post on one of our episodes who had a theory that, or maybe one of you guys said it, but I'm almost positive someone made a post that they believed the reason why Mothra died so quickly in the next film was because... Oh, it was... Oh, I
was the one who said... Well, think about it. Going off with the science, that evolution that quick is going to f*** up your body. Especially with how... I can't remember exactly what I said, but I remember telling you, hey, think about it, that much radiation, that's gonna kill anything. It's probably why Mothra died later on.
Yeah, he doesn't have that legendary ability to absorb radiation like Godzilla has. I mean, she could definitely do it, but I think Godzilla's in a different league when it comes to absorption.
Get on my level.
Okay, here's something I really liked about this. Godzilla, normally in these movies, kind of like wades his way through cities and like destroys stuff as he like walks around and occasionally shoots a fire breath. This is the first time, and you could probably chalk this up to the fact that he's under mind control. This is the first time where he's like, yeah, these buildings, wah! Like he's so animated during these attack sequences. And then quickly we see Rodan joining the fray, and it sucks because like 30% of his footage is from his original film, and it sucks seeing his original suit show up for a few seconds, the one that's super flexible and has way more detail, and then go back to the shitty, really stiff one they have. I hate it.
Speaking of Dragon Ball, these two being mind-controlled is similar to when Vegeta was mind-controlled by Babidi.
Majin Vegeta.
Majin Godzilla.
Majin Rodan and Majin Godzilla.
I mean, you were technically almost correct. Gojira is one way to pronounce it. You just needed to move around one consonant.
And then Ghidorah soon joins the battle, and I like some of the shots that they made for Ghidorah where he's like attacking some Japanese city. And there's this one shot where there's a bunch of people across like a bay or something crossing a street, and they're in like danger. And there's this really nice composite of Ghidorah in the background just shooting stray gravity bolts. I hate that they're called that.
Gravity bolts.
It's lightning. He shoots lightning out of his mouth. And there's lightning. I don't give a crap what these people call it in the lore. It's lightning, man.
Gravity bolts!
What is he, a Pokemon?
Or something. I think the shot I'm talking about, and I'll definitely put an image of it in our new video portion, it straight up is like a good way to convey how like terrifying it is to be in a situation where like there's this giant monster just kind of casually going through this city, blowing up whatever it feels like, and if you're not careful, it might start walking your way. I don't know. I really liked this shot.
Yeah, too bad half of it was reused footage.
Yeah, a lot of the footage of like tanks shooting at them is just the tanks that were shooting at Rodan. But there is my favorite thing that they reused was the one soldier hanging on for dear life to a tree when Rodan's doing like the wind thing. He's like, no, no,
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
it's so great. I love that. Other thing, I really like that Ifukube's music was preserved for this film because the Americans had a bad habit of taking all of his music out and putting in their generic stuff.
Damn it.
So like usual, Earth's forces, or more like the JSDF, but that doesn't matter here, are helpless to stop a single kaiju, let alone the combined might of 3 of the mightiest kaiju that Earth has ever seen. And all I can think of this whole time is like, where the is Mothra?
They didn't have enough money to summon her.
No, Mothra's dealing with the fact of where her people are being enslaved.
What is that? That's interesting. Maybe that has... I'll have to work that into my theory. I don't see a clean explanation right now, but I think I could figure out a way to get it to work.
He'll find a way to cook.
I was gonna say the tiny girls weren't in danger, so Mothra doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, well, that actually does sound kind of plausible.
Yeah, but they're going to be in danger later once the Xiliens rule everything.
Then Mothra will start giving a shit.
It'll be too late.
Yeah, but she doesn't know that.
Like, nah, I can take King Ghidorah and Godzilla and Rodan, even if I have to.
Mothra, you got your ass folded the literal nanosecond that you came face to face with Ghidorah.
Nuh-uh.
I have video footage proof of it. Quickly, play the clip.
Here's 4K ray traced evidence.
That was a different Mothra. And you know what? It very well might have been.
So, it's time for mankind's ultimate plan to defeat the Xiliens. It is a combination of 2 things. Part 1, they bring Tetsuo's invention to a radio station and they get a man to say the following. Attention, everyone. This is an emergency broadcast. The unpleasant noise you are about to hear coming from your radio is not a mistake. Please do not turn off your radio, but turn up the volume on your receiver as high as it can go, so we can make the sound we broadcast as loud as possible. They're going to defeat the aliens with the most annoying sound ever.
I mean, the sad part is it works.
It works, but here's the thing I go into question about. They deliver the message saying, remember when the Xiliens used a disc to relay their message across all channels?
No, what they did, they did like loudspeakers, and then they also sent a tape that they played on like a recorder.
Okay, so they didn't take over literally all means of communication.
No, they didn't.
Okay, because if they did, then my question is, wouldn't they have just been able to shut it off? But granted, that also, again, requires thought and logic, so...
Well, you want to know the weirdest thing is that, so across the world, I mean just Japan, but the sound is being broadcast, and the alien ships, which are hovering like a mile or 2 off the ground, are somehow affected?
They start exploding.
No, they start wobbling like they're drunk.
They need to get them some soundproof bars.
Maybe that's what they have, is the soundproof bars, and they're but that implies that their technology is vulnerable to the sound too?
It's like kryptonite, man.
It's like kryptonite in that new Superman cartoon. Not only the Kryptonians, but the Kryptonian technology is also vulnerable to kryptonite.
Wait, what?
Dude, that's some of the most brutal way that kryptonite... No, Dennis, we watched that show together. Remember how
we did. It was in My Adventures with Superman. I don't remember that. I thought you were talking about...
Yeah, the kryptonite f***s him up, dude. It's like some of the most brutal effect it ever does.
The factor it grows out of him, too. It's like, ooh, that's gotta hurt.
Like, that is definitely my favorite kryptonite effect of any Superman media.
This Clark Kent adaptation is the kind of body type I aspire to be, because Jesus Christ, this man is built.
The guy's built like a brick house, and he's got a waist like an Egyptian pharaoh.
Just without all the belts.
The triumphant music, or at least gets started, and the military moves out with their laser tanks that earlier the by the way, the aliens are catching on about the laser tanks, so they just start destroying them with strafing runs. So they had to hide for a little bit, but now they don't need to hide anymore because apparently the sounds coming from all the radios on Earth is able to somehow reach them up in the sky, even though I don't think a radio on the ground would really be whatever. I guess they're broadcasting it too and they're picking it up, but why would... It doesn't make any sense. Whatever.
Sound moves really fast, Terner. Don't worry about it. It's like a beam attack.
I guess so. Anyway, so they start having the laser tanks shooting the light cycle rays at the saucers, and they're blaring extra sounds at them, and they're all like effed up, and then they use a ton of... So the Xiliens are like, oh, send all the monsters here, kill all the tanks. But before they could do, the tanks are able to interrupt the signals and straight up give the 3 kaiju of this film seizures.
Godzilla dies.
Since the oxygen destroyer, this has probably been the most amount of damage they've done to a giant kaiju that's not been a stupid plan of a hole or electricity.
And it's the funny thing is, I don't think the light cycle ray would work on them unless they were being mind controlled. Because I think it would just do jack all to them unless they had that condition when then they their head.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's not something they can just do whenever they want. The controller gets really butthurt at this point, and they're all like, we need to stop doing stuff, and he just grabs one of them by, like, the scuff of his shirt and just hucks them out of the way. It's like, no, this is impossible! This power scaling on these monsters is insane! I'm gonna make a better prompt. I'm a goddamn AI prompt engineer. I'm gonna solve all these problems. You fools, our computers are invincible! Just adjust them to normal! And the people on Earth, they're like, he's like contacting the people on Earth, it's like, Colonial Commander, what is going on? And we like cut to his room because the military started blowing up their base with tanks and and he's just like,
oh yeah, they're
like,
dead.
We're doomed with like the worst voice acting I've ever heard.
Because like simultaneously they're shooting tanks from like half a mile away at this building and they're just getting completely
Don't you love how the fact where they have impeccable aim for this building? But when it comes to Godzilla in and of itself, the biggest thing on in a wide open field, they can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Tank commanders could not hit the broadside of 4 blue whales combined. Like, come on, man, hit him. Although it's funny, in this movie, I think I've seen the most direct hits on Godzilla out of any of the films.
And it still makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. A-cycle lasers and the most annoying sound on Earth is destroying the saucers, and basically everything is collapsing around the controller. He's losing control. He's not good at his prompts and Chat GPT are not panning out. He thought the monsters were all like supernova level. Turns out that most are like city level. So he's like, no, this is impossible. And then he says something rather interesting. Something that me as a Godzilla fan, when I started revisiting the series, I paid attention to what he said here because it made my brain, my massive brain, start to think. And so I'm going to say it, and then I'll get into why I think it's important. The controller, while everything around him is breaking because all their computers are made by the same people that make the Star Trek computers, are exploding and everything, he says something, we'll escape into the future, into that dimension we've never seen. All of you, join me and escape! And he hits the button and his spaceship just explodes.
Or it looks like it explodes.
Yeah.
I like to think it's like in Dragon Ball where they think they're going into the past and instead it's multiverse theory. And they actually killed themselves by accident.
I like to think they just hit the wrong button.
To the future! Oh,
It's standard practice to put the self-destruct button right next to the engine block.
And right next to the time travel button. All 3 of them right there.
Yeah. One red, one blue, one green.
despite how funny it is, after him saying all this stuff about time travel and then he just explodes. I have a theory, and I know you guys won't appreciate it until later, but I have a theory that the Xiliens of this movie are the Futurians in the Heisei series of Godzilla. And I know it technically counts as different timelines, but what Dennis said earlier, I think there's some multiversal going on here.
Oh?
You think Godzilla has a multiverse?
I think it does. And I can explain that when we get to that point, but if our viewers are interested and want me to make a dedicated episode to this, let me know, because I think I'm cooking on something here, and I've never seen anyone seem to suggest that this might be a thing, and I see a lot of pieces that work together, and I kind of want to do my hello internet, welcome to my film theory.
Everyone break out your pointy hats and straw yarn.
Bro's really pining for the Godzilla cinematic universe.
God, I want to set up a corkboard with red strings. That'd be so much fun. Anyway, so they push the big red button and they all explode. But it turns out this Godzilla movie has Godzilla in it. So
He was nice enough to make a cameo.
it's nice enough to make a cameo. So Godzilla wakes up, and I love his radio-controlled eyes because they just kind of huh? Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm the star of this franchise. Hey, golden asshole, wake up!
We got a fight to do!
And he smacks Rodan with his tail. He's like, oh, God. Oh, yeah, that's right. We were fighting.
And they just get up and start fighting like it was the last movie all over again.
Yes, exactly, dude. And the three engage in Mortal Kombat! Bum, 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 bum. The thing that kind of sucks in this fight is that it genuinely looks like the creators don't really know what to do with Rodan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just have Rodan grabbing Ghidorah's tail.
And then Godzilla's face tanking Ghidorah and getting hit by all these little gravity they're lightning.
Gravity lasers! Gravity bolts! Gravity bolts!
Gravity bolt! Gravity bolt!
Hailstorm!
Hailstorm!
They also have Godzilla dancing around like he's a freaking boxer.
I love that bit.
But you know what my favorite Godzilla move out of all the things is? Effectively, it's the one move he learned from King Kong. The mighty rock throw.
Throw rocks! Ever since that movie, that's like what Godzilla does all the time. He didn't throw shit at Anguirus, but after he one fight with a monkey, now he throws shit all the time.
This monkey scarred him so much to where he throws nothing but rocks.
And then we see Godzilla and Rodan. They're doing all this stuff to fight Rodan, and then, oh, wait a minute. That ain't Rodan. That ain't Rodan. Oh! Wombo combo!
Rodan picks up Godzilla and does a full-on fastball special into Ghidorah and sends them both tumbling down the cliff and into the ocean.
This is the third goddamn time how one of these movies ends that way.
And then that's it.
It just ends. That's it.
Well, we see Ghidorah fly out of the water and fly off into space because they reuse the same shot of him flying off to space from the last movie, and it's just Team Rocket, we're blasting off again! Because there's three heads and actually works perfectly.
Looks like Team Rocket's blasting off again. Man, I haven't seen that in so long.
Don't know, you forgot the signature. Ding.
Ding.
No,
I could probably edit that if I really wanted to. F it, I'll do it. So then everyone is the humans are at the cliffside because as soon as they saw them fighting, they're like, well, we can't do much here. Let's just off. Okay, cool. The fight's over. Awesome. Wait, is Godzilla and Rodan dead? And then someone says, nah, they're too tough. But they're not coming back up. Well, I mean, do you remember we established that Rodan is triphibian and Godzilla can hold his breath indefinitely because he can breathe underwater, man. They're fine.
Triphibian? Is that a word?
It is a word. I actually In our Rodan episode, I claimed that they were quadphibious. Turns out if they can fly, dig, and swim, it's still just triphibian. They are a triphibian.
What would the fourth one be to make it quad psionic?
I thought living on land and living underground meant two different things. It doesn't.
All right.
Wait, how would psionic fit into there?
That's the joke.
Travels through your mind.
Yeah! He's
a dream walker. He's like Freddy Krueger.
or Ramona Flowers.
Oh my god, is the f***ing clown from It just Godzilla having mutated over another million years into a human clown? But he got it wrong.
No.
Oh my god.
Speaking of which, I saw Welcome to Derry. That's a show that if anyone wants us to cover it, I'd be happy to. I really enjoyed it. I was kind of iffy on It Part 2. I really liked It Part 1, but the show had me hooked. Everyone cheers. Hooray, we defeated the Xiliens, and King Ghidorah has off to parts unknown. Godzilla and Rodan are still the MVPs. Rodan thinks he's going to take an extended vacation until like 2 movies later. And everyone's like, all right, well, I guess we're never going back to space again. Isn't that right, Fuji? Yeah, that's right, Glenn. We're never going back to space. Dr. Sakura then walks up and is like, no, Glenn, you're going back to Planet X. And he's like, you are going to be our first ambassador. Why?
Ambassador for what?
Didn't these guys just try to take over the planet?
Also, what's one person going to do against a planet full of these people?
Well, it's to be an ambassador, not a combatant.
Well, if the plan was to take over, wouldn't the planet know they're trying to take over? So if they're trying to be an ambassador...
That's what we just said.
But no, okay. What I'm trying to say is there's been no order of peace. It's like, nope, fighting's over. They're not combatants anymore. We're not trying to take them over. As far as the planet knows, they're still fighting.
It's possible. I mean, also Planet X just lost essentially their president and vice president.
Yeah, they went into the future.
Sure, little Timmy, let's go with that.
And then that's the end of the movie. It just ends with that weird note that Glenn is going to be an ambassador, and that's why we never see him again.
Does Planet X ever come up again?
Nope.
What?
It's weird. These are the best aliens in the series, unless you count the ones that controlled Mechagodzilla. Those guys are pretty dope. But they're the most iconic aliens in the series, and they get referenced all the time in outside Godzilla media. Like, these are the aliens of Godzilla. You think aliens, you think the Xiliens. No one gives a shit about the cockroaches from the Black Hole Nebula. It's all about the Xiliens. I didn't make that up.
Are there any more aliens in this era?
Yes, there's the people in Destroy All Monsters, there's the people in Gigan, there's the people in... I don't think there's another one besides the Mechagodzilla aliens, but I have a theory that they're not aliens, but that's for another day. All right, so we actually have plenty of time, so I'm going to explain to you guys why the Xiliens did what they did. So normally in sci-fi, like the biggest complaint is if the aliens are so advanced, why even bother trying to deceive us? Why go through this whole rigmarole to stop us? It's twofold. One, the Xiliens have next to no population. There's like none of them. There's so few of them. Second, a theory that I have is that when King Ghidorah destroyed the Venusians, like the two dubs say different years, it's a long ass time ago. I have a theory that the next stop that he went was towards Planet X and is the reason why Planet X is so desolate. I think that when the controller said that they were forced underground by the monster, they were half telling the truth. I think they genuinely were forced underground until they developed the technology to control King Ghidorah. But their planet was absolutely devastated in the process of them trying to figure out how to control him over the, I don't know how many years. So once Planet X learned of Earth, because again, they're on the other side of Jupiter, so they couldn't really ever see, they never knew Earth existed until maybe more recently in their time. They decided, well, now we control King Ghidorah. Why don't we send King Ghidorah to Earth? Because it wiped out our civilization almost. Why not just send it to Earth and have it do the dirty work for us, and then we'll just go back, tell it to stop before it destroys the ecosystem, and we'll just take over. But here's the thing. The Xiliens did not know about Godzilla, Rodan, and, Mothra, who contributed like 1% to the ultimate, like, the Godzilla Dream Team at 100% is all three of them. The Godzilla Dream Team at 99% is just Godzilla and Rodan. So the theory goes that even though the Xiliens are more advanced than Earth, they're not so advanced, like they're not leaps and bounds. They're like maybe a century or two ahead of us. So they know that individually that their saucers are more powerful than our military, like pound for pound. But we have Godzilla, we have Rodan. They would them up, and they know that if Earth put their minds to it, through sheer weight of force, we could defeat them. That's why they did this whole ruse. They don't have the numbers, so they decided to do this whole rigmarole to get the two biggest players on Earth's board off the field.
And look what happened.
And then they f***ed up because they told them how they were doing it. That's my theory. I bet you anyone in the comments could probably poke holes in it, and I'd be happy to discuss with them.
There's no way these humans have access to magnets.
Or understand what waves are.
Hazard a guess, they figure out the one sound that's lethal to us.
Oh, sir, they discovered the sound.
Are you f***ing me?
Computer Chat GPT says no.
All right, fine. Buy his patent and burn it.
Sir, he escaped.
Well, that was my theory, and we have plenty of time to do our reviews, and I don't think we'll be ahead of schedule, actually. Who would like to go first?
I vote Dion.
Are you just gonna volunteer me?
Did you say volunteer?
Yeah, I was trying to. I was gonna say voluntold, but then I backtracked. I was gonna say volunteer, and I didn't quite make it back there yet.
I love when that happens. Like halfway, you change your mind. I love when that happens.
The loading bar doesn't go in reverse, damn it.
How you just gonna volunteer me?
Because it was quiet. And you, for the infinitesimal second, I heard you about to say something. And I said, yes, there you go. Example.
I wasn't about to say something.
Oh, wait, that example. Sacrifice.
Fine, I will indulge you.
Oh, thank you, good sire.
Alright, what to say? What to say about this movie? In short, this movie didn't really grab me. I feel like it was a lot more complicated than it needed to be, as Terner's theory might explain.
To be fair, I did steal some of that info from Big Action Bill as well as other sources, but I put a little bit of my own spin on it. But yeah, there is some mental gymnastics you need to do to make it make sense.
I found a lot of dealings with the Xiliens pretty boring. Didn't really get all that exciting until they started to demand that we surrender, which I think was like halfway through the movie. I was watching the final fight over again. That picked up my mood about it a bit, because once again, I'm here for the kaiju fights.
So what's your rating?
What was it? We were doing out of 10, right?
Yes. So for our viewers, we try to do a real out of 10 system. We're not IGN, because IGN, if anything's lower than a 7, it's garbage.
Unlike IGN, we tell the truth. We do not misinform or lie.
And we're also heavily inspired by Angry Joe, who they do a more genuine out of 10 system than most other sites.
Still would like to meet him one day.
I would love to meet him. But anyway, what is your rating, Dion?
Thinking about it, I think I'm gonna land on a 5.
All right.
Not solid. Mind if I go next?
Sure.
Movie was a 4. Everything was all right at most. Maybe okay. You know what tanked it for me? Whoever was in charge of soundboarding this movie deserves a place in prison for having every annoying sound, not just Tetsuo's device. Everything was so ear-gratingly.
Just like lots of that.
And so much of it
Basically.
is so goddamn annoying. I was genuinely developing a headache for it. And I also remembered something in this movie that I didn't think about when we were doing part one. And I realized it now. There's barely any music.
There's actually plenty of music in this movie.
I did not hear a damn thing.
It's very quiet.
This isn't Rage Again where I totally agree with you. No, there is music in this movie, but it's a lot of it is subtle. A lot of it's really subtle theremin's music.
How is it? It's theremins here. Yet in the last movie, they had a genuine, semi-orchestra. They had music. They had instruments playing. Here, it's just beeps and whirls. And I'm like, no, we're not in later sci-fi.
But they had an orchestra later in the movie, during the climax and all that stuff. They had a whole ass original score from Ifukube. Or maybe not original, but it was definitely his music. I don't know, I think you're remembering it wrong. But how you feel isn't wrong. How you felt is definitely not wrong.
The only thing that really got me was the fact of okay, sweet, now we're involving aliens. And honestly, they're not subtle about it. They were never subtle. The fact that the president, I'm assuming, the controller just starts laughing maniacally. I'm like, yes, you're the villain. Wonderful. Continue on. I have places to be. So, a 4.
All right.
I was just thinking, I wish they did something to make them look more alien instead of just guys in suits. It could have been body paint, could have been something as simple as antennae. I don't know.
They actually do have body paint. If you remember, all of them are super pale.
No, I think what he's talking about is more than just body paint.
I know. So what you want is what early Star Trek did. Isn't the Orions just green people?
Yes.
And then there's the other people that are... Oh, it starts with a T. It's the blue people with antennae. They're one of the major founding members of the Federation or something. I don't know.
I know of what you're talking about, but I just can't remember the name. But, what's your verdict on this movie?
God, as we've been talking about it, I think I'm down to a 3. I was thoroughly unenthused.
Just keeps going lower and lower.
It did. When we started, I was like, yeah, I think I'll be a 5.5 or a 5. And just as we've been talking, here's what I think. Even talking about it for the podcast over this last hour and a half has bored me. That's the best I can say. It's kind of a boring movie. Even though I'm typically the champion of it was made in the 60s, it's not as robust as our modern pieces. Holy, it was just a slog to watch. They reused footage. I didn't care about the characters, both the monsters or the humans. The plot was weird. It felt super contrived and just kind of stupid. It just kept going down the longer we kept talking about it. I think it's just actually a 3. I really didn't like it.
Were you falling asleep with the movie too? Because I was actually kind of falling asleep.
No, I paid attention the whole time. I completely understood the story and what was going on. The more I think about it, the more actively I didn't much care for it. And it doesn't get any better with the next movie, which, public opinion also thought was pretty bad, so.
That's one thing I noticed while we've been watching these, really old movies. It's not even the writing, it's not about the suits that they use. Why is just the acting in these older movies just so much more boring than modern day?
So that's because... During film's infancy, the best they had to go off of was stage plays, and stage plays had their own, style, and that's why if you go back to some of the earliest films ever made, it's just a stage play that they recorded.
I can forgive it for that.
As you go through film history, you will see every decade we get further and further away from the original example of it's just a stage play. So... that's how things become less boring and the acting gets more sophisticated over time.
Yeah.
More sophisticated, more bombastic, but I've seen more bombastic actual stage plays.
Well, it's again we've always talked about in the 50s, 60s, filmmaking was a new art. Like Terner said, they were trying to figure out how to differentiate it from typical stage play and also just figure out practical effects, suits, just like, it was just new territory, man. Like, in those, like, couple decades even, where they were just trying to figure all this shit out is, like, where you see all of the classics. And, like, even if you look at some, like, understandably classic movies today, like,
King Kong or...
like, yeah, basically, like, any classic movie that's, like, you know, got that, like, cult appeal to it. Like, through our modern lens, they probably look at least a little bit like shit, but you can still appreciate that, like, okay, this is closer to, like, the modern movie than something from, like, the 50s, 60s. So, like, I give these movies a pass on that front, but, like, if I gave you just the synopsis to this movie, just, like, cold turkey, I read it to you off the Wikipedia page, and then read you the synopsis for Titanic or Avatar, which one would you want to go watch?
You said Titanic, Avatar?
I guess those are different genres.
I would definitely want to go see Avatar more, but this movie on paper sounds exciting.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think on paper, it sounds exciting. I'll get into it in my review, but, like, yeah, it's just the execution. I think the ideal was there. The execution was not perfect.
Somebody cooked, but not everyone.
Yeah. So here's my review. I'm going to give this movie a 5.5, and I have a good reason for it. I enjoyed the movie, but then again, I am the core audience for this. I always have. This film was one of the ones I revisited a lot as a kid because I had the VHS for it, and I got duped into buying it like 2 times because of the different titles.
What the f*** did you just say? VHS? What the f*** is that?
Is anyone having heart pains already? I think my knees are acting up.
My back's been acting up lately, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got duped into buying this movie like 3 times on eBay because it had different titles.
Wow.
But did you notice the first time, or did you notice the second time?
I bought a movie called Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, and I was satisfied. And then my dad and I on eBay were looking for more Godzilla films because that was the only way to get it back then. You can't go to Target back then and pick it up. It's niche.
What about Blockbuster?
The niche, dude. They didn't have a full library. Anyway, so we're on eBay, and I see Godzilla versus the Cosmic Monster. I'm like, okay, Dad, can you get that for me? Please, please, please. I was like, all right, sure. Get it, pop it in. It's just the same movie again. And then I see Godzilla versus the Astro-Monster. I'm like, Dad, can you get it? Can you get it? He's like, yeah, sure, why not? Get it? It's the same movie.
Those rat bastards.
Dude, you just unlocked a core memory that I have. Remember the Godzilla games, Destroy All Monsters and Save the Earth? I played Save the Earth at one of my friends' houses, and I didn't know what the name was. I just knew it was Godzilla. So I got home, I'm like, Dad, my birthday's coming up. Can I get this Godzilla game I played? And he's like, sure, which one was it? We, like, pulled up eBay, and we pulled up Destroy All Monsters. And I was like, yeah, I think it was that one. And I got it, and it, like, didn't play exactly the same. Like, I noticed a couple of differences, and I was like,
Yeah.
Dad, we got the wrong one. And he looked at it, and I remember my dad looked at me, looked at the screen, and it's like, is that not Godzilla?
It's one of those things that only a kid can tell the difference, and the parents are like, what is this, the Pokemans?
No, it wasn't even that. Just like, I understand his perspective too. He definitely was looking at his stupid 5-year-old. Tell him, Dad, this isn't the right game. And it's like, well, what the is on the screen then?
No, it's the sequel. I want the sequel. Anyway, so back to what I was talking about. I went into this movie, I was expecting you guys to like it because I remember really liking it. But Dom, you witnessed it firsthand. When we sat down and watched it for the first time, it slowly was dawning on me. It's like, oh, this movie's kind of boring.
Yeah. There was like a moment like 45 minutes in or something, Terner, where you just like, you sounded so dejected. You're just like, this movie is not as interesting as I remember it being. You sounded so sad.
I was sad. I was excited. This movie in the mythos of Godzilla is hype as because like 4 other movies are just a remake of this one. And that's why I give it a 5.5 because like straight up, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters is just a remake of this movie. Godzilla Final Wars is just a remake of this movie. There's like a third one. I forget which one it was, but there's like another movie that it's just this one again. Like, people love the formula. I think they just didn't cook that much on the first one, but people love the Xiliens, man. They make a comeback in Godzilla Final Wars. They're literally called the Xiliens.
Did they do better in the next 2 times?
Yes! So, because how important it is to the overall mythos of Godzilla, I'm going to give it a 5.5. If I took all that out and just rated it raw as a film, I think I'd probably give it like 4.5, maybe a 5 if I'm on a nice day, but I think critically, I think it's a 4, which, again, on our rating, 4.5 or 4 does not mean bad. It means below average. And this movie was a little below average with above average ideas, is what I think it had. Also, this movie kind of marks the end of, like, a through line in the Godzilla timeline, because you can kind of draw a really awesome, like, interconnected web of lines between all the movies that Toho did up until this point, kind of culminating here. And then the next movie is just like, by the way, this also happened.
It's just a bunch of extra
It's just, Dom, ever since you said it in, like, one of our episodes, the best way I could describe the next film is just, so then a bunch of first-rate shaboingery happens.
Yeah, kind of.
First-rate shaboingery?
Turner, I need you to put that as the next episode title for the next movie. First-rate shaboinery.
Godzilla versus first-rate shaboingery.
Because there's, like, almost next to nothing in Godzilla versus the Sea Monster or Ebirah Horror of the Deep in Japan that really ties into any of the previous films other than Infant Island and Mothra make a cameo. Like, there's no through line. It just also happened in this world.
Is there any reference to anything that happened on Infant Island before?
Not really, other than that they are Infant Islanders and that when they brought it up, humans knew about Infant Island.
Oh, no, I got it. They went up in their own tech tree.
Oh, yeah, they did advance.
They have knives.
We could talk about that in our next video about this stuff. But yeah, okay, so all right, it's time to give us our final rating. So it's 5.5 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 equals.
And Steve, what's your rating from the future? Insert Steve's rating from the future.
What's up, guys? It's me, Steven, from the past, future. Time doesn't matter. It's a man-made construct, non-linear. So, this movie. Okay, this movie by itself, I was going to give a 4.5 to a 5, but just the fact that there were so many goddamn high-pitched noises throughout the entire movie drops it down to a 2 for me. I counted at the end when they do that stupid noise thing. It's almost 6 minutes straight. And my God, I just basically muted my phone during that whole time because Turner said not to watch it on headphone. 2, maybe, not even 2.5, just 2 just because of the sound. I'll see y'all next episode. Bye.
Wow, that's great, Steve. Thanks.
Excluding Steve from the future, the average we give this is, divide by 4.
I thought you were going to say divide by 0 and explode.
We give this movie an average of 4.3, or if we're rounding up, 4.4. So, a below average movie. I think that fits. I think it has, like I said, above average ideas, below average execution.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds about right. Just like my love life.
Does anyone have any closing thoughts?
You for making me watch all this.
My ears hurt.
Hopefully the next 2 are better. The next 2 Xilien movies, anyways.
Well, one of them doesn't have the Xiliens in it. They have another alien race, but Final Wars is the one where they just straight up just call them the Xiliens, and I love it. If you guys happen to enjoy our show and made it all the way to this point, congrats. We all really appreciate it here at Real Jumpers. If you want to help us grow, please do everything you can. Share it with your friends who love sci-fi. We love sci-fi here. It's our bread and butter and flows in our veins, man. Like, share it with your friends. Give us a hype button on YouTube if that's possible. Like, comment, share, subscribe, man. Go to our Patreon, man. We don't have a ton, but we're adding stuff all the time to our Patreon. We got uncensored episodes, so you can hear us say the F word without a weird sound. We got extra bits in there that you're not going to hear on YouTube because we can't put them on YouTube. And yeah, man, like, we got a lot of stuff in the works. We got a lot planned, and we can only grow if you guys help us. So, you know, if you feel like it, throw us a bone.
You sound like an HR department.
The more you pay us, the more and faster we can put this shit out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, I want to go weekly, but it's just unsustainable at the moment.
So what you're saying is if they hit like and subscribe that they want it harder and faster.
Ha!
I was trying to think of how to do a Daft Punk joke, but it just wasn't happening. All right. Any last thing you guys want to say?
It harder.
The next movie sucks just as hard. No, it sucks worse, actually.
It sucks in a different way, though.
It sucks in a different way, but it's, like, remarkably worse.
All right. Well, that's about all today. We dissected the plot and we've analyzed the data, and I do believe that we have emerged victorious but wounded. Thank you all for watching, and join us next time for Real Jumpers. Signing off.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for jumping with us, y'all.
Shut up, Dom!